And we're going to jump in with a great story about a friend of Tech Field Day, and that would be our friends over at Vast Data, because a few weeks back they introduced an event broker to ingest real-time events, replacing a Kafka cluster. They also added block storage support, making their platform truly unified. Today, they're adding a whole raft of additional features to build real-time RAG pipelines with proper access control. Now, Stephen, given that you are the one around here that focuses on storage and AI, we thought it would be awesome to give you the chance to react to this news from our friends over at Vast.
Well, thanks, Tom, and thanks for saving the news for me. As you mentioned, version 5.3 came out a couple of weeks ago. That's the next rev of the Vast operating system. Now, many of you may be familiar with Vast, but if you're not, let me give you a little bit of background. So Vast is part of this current crop of next generation storage solutions. Essentially, as has happened every decade of my career, everybody in storage realizes that what was going on before it ain't gonna work going on in the future. And so they all kind of get together and start a bunch of new companies and develop new storage platforms that do everything different and actually pretty much better. Now, unfortunately, storage is also an industry with a lot of, let's say, inertia. And so the companies that back then that did the things that actually don't work all that well anymore, well, they're still here. But the next generation companies actually do a tremendous job. Vast is basically the 800-pound gorilla of the current crop of next generation storage. They're doing everything better than everyone else. And it's pretty safe to say that everything that they've added in the last couple of years has really just solidified their existing lead in this next generation storage space. Vast is essentially the storage platform of choice for AI applications, for next generation applications. And they've added a lot of stuff that has gotten them beyond storage. I'm sure that they're sitting there listening to this saying, data, not storage, data. Well, I'm with you guys, I'm with you. I am always skeptical when companies start basically getting out of their lane. And so when Vast introduced data, true database capability in their platform, I was admittedly quite skeptical that this was actually going to work out. Well, it's actually worked out really well. The Vast database platform has enabled the company to basically do the same for data, real, honest to goodness database data that they did for file storage. And now with this release, they've got block storage as well. So they had object, they had file, they've got block, they've got actual true database access. As mentioned, they've got a real-time event broker. It's basically replaces Kafka. It's API compatible, kind of like some of those other things. They're S3 compatible, that sort of thing. Well, this one, essentially, instead of having your own fidgety and ridiculous Kafka cluster for real-time data, you can just point it at your Vast and say, go to it, and the thing just does it. Now, they've expanded that with, as I said, block storage. So they're using NVMe over TCP. This is a native capability. It's not just what some unified arrays in the past have done, which is basically, no kidding, this is how they do it, basically making a real big file and then pretending that that's a virtual drive and then letting you kind of access it block-wise, but you're actually not. It's actually just a file in the file system. Well, Vast doesn't do that. What they're doing is they've created a first-class actual file semantics, a new kind of element within the whole Vast system. It supports everything you need. It is high performance. It's flexible. It supports VMware. It supports OpenStack Cinder. It can scale. It's a really nice, honestly, a really nice block storage offering. And as mentioned today, March 12th, they're adding serverless triggers and functions, vector storage and retrieval, fine-grained access control, and enabling their database, which is another kind of personality of the Vast system, to support RAG applications. So you can actually have, you can combine this with the Kafka, you can have real-time data coming in. The Vast platform will just handle it for you. You can then present that in a vector database semantics to a RAG application and do real-time queries against real-time data. It's pretty solid stuff and pretty impressive stuff from the folks at Vast. So essentially, Vast has done what very few other companies have achieved. In fact, I can't think of somebody who's actually made the leap from storage to true data in this way. And they just keep stepping on the gas. It is pretty impressive stuff. And we're going to keep an eye out. A little birdie told me that they're going to have more announcements later this month. So we'll be reporting on that on the Tech Field Day Rundown probably next week or the week after.